So next kind of compound we want to look at, yep, okay, are molecular compounds. A molecular compound is made up of two nonmetals. That means everything in the compound comes from the right-hand side of the staircase. Now, the difference here between a molecular compound and an ionic compound is not just what's in them. Obviously, in an ionic compound, there's a metal. In a molecular compound, there aren't. But also in what they do with their electrons. The electrons are treated a lot differently. In an ionic compound, the electrons are traded, right? This one gives it up, the other one takes it, and it's just done. In a molecular compound, the electrons get shared. Okay, there isn't this, I've got a negative charge, you've got a positive charge, let's get together. There's, oh my gosh, I love you to death, you have everything I want to stay with you forever. Okay, molecular compounds are far more stable because they can't live without each other. Okay, they have to stay together because the other one has the electrons that the other needs. They're going to share them, not give them up. All right, so the bonds in a molecular compound are called covalent bonds. That means they share the electron, right? Whereas in an ionic compound, they just give them away. Okay? Here, they share them, right? So they're going to be in a covalent or shared valence. Okay, so the big thing, like we say here about molecular compounds, okay, is that the electrons are shared between the two elements, okay? And that is a very strong bond, which is why molecular compounds behave a lot differently than do ionic compounds. And we'll get into that later on in the week when we talk about properties of compounds. They have very, very different physical properties. Now, naming our molecular compounds is pretty straightforward. We just name them in whatever order they are in the compound. And then in order to tell people how many there are, we use What do we use to tell them how many there are? Prefixes. Okay, now we have to use prefixes. We didn't need them in the ionic compounds because we knew if there's a calcium and a bromine, they only go together one way. Okay, but for a molecular compound, because they're sharing the electrons, not trading them, they could go together in any number of ways. So we have to use prefixes for these ones. So a molecular compound arises when two or more nonmetals react to form a new substance. The electrons are shared. Okay, we would use our prefixes. So CS2 would be carbon disulphide. Notice the first element does not get its name changed. Okay, in an ionic compound, we didn't change the name of the metal. Right? We're still kind of holding true to that. The first element doesn't get a name change. It stays as it is on the periodic table. Only the second thing gets its name changed to ide. So this is carbon disulphide because there are two sulfurs and only one carbon. This stuff here is going to be dinitrogen, and actually there's a mistake here. Okay, it is dinitrogen. And what's the prefix for one? Mono, right? Dinitrogen monoxide. We usually just write it like this with a hyphen. Okay, you could write monooxide if you wanted to as well, right? Dinitrogen monoxide. Now, I put mono on oxygen. Why didn't I put it on carbon in the first one? Because it only goes on the second one. Okay, chemists like to feel important, so they come up with rules that are hard to remember and dumb for everyone else. Okay, this is one of them. We just have to remember you never put mono on the first element. Yeah, thanks, chemistry. Okay, come up with some better rules. But okay, that's the rule. You never put mono on the first thing for whatever reason. Okay, we don't use mono on the first. We use every other prefix on the first, but not mono. All right, this stuff here, okay, would be tetraphosphorus. Tetra means four, not quad. Okay, tetra, and decaoxide. So what you're going to need probably is a list of the prefixes in case you don't know them all. So here they are. One's mono, two is di, three is tri, four is tetra, five is penta, six is hexa, 7 is hepta, If you took French science in grade 9, they may have told you septa. Don't ever write that. The two guys who teach Chem 20 absolutely lose their minds when someone writes the prefix in French. Okay, so you don't want to do that. I'm saving you some agony later. Okay, hepta is the right way. 8's octa, 9 is nona, just like the shapes. Okay, 10 is deca. Okay? Pentagon has 5 sides, the hexagon has 6 sides. So it's just like the shapes. Okay, that's how you can remember it. Right? So basically, writing the names for molecular compounds is pretty easy. All you got to be able to do is remember the prefixes. If you remember the prefixes, you're just writing names. Okay, anyone need the list of prefixes still? Yeah. Okay, can I go on to the next one? Yeah. All right, I want you guys to try the first 4 here. Okay, all molecular, so let's see if we can get the names right on these ones. I'll give you a few minutes to get ahead of me, and then we'll go over them together. 4. So start off with the first one here. We've got nitrogen and iodine. Okay, so this is going to be nitrogen. Doesn't need a prefix because there's no number on it. Triiodide. Okay, for number 2, we've got C, which stands for carbon. And we've got 4 iodines, so that's going to be tetraiodide. Again, no capital letters here, guys, and that's something that everyone really needs to work on, because I know when I walked around, I was still seeing a lot of capital letters on names on people's papers. Okay, number 3, we've got nitrogen. There's 2 of them, so do I need a prefix this time? Yes, this is going to be dinitrogen trioxide. And then for number 4, I've got tellurium. There's no number on that, so I can just write it. It won't need a prefix. And there's 2 astatines, so that would be diastatide. Okay, questions on the first 4?
When would you ever use mono?
Only on the second one. So if this was, let's say, NO, then it would be nitrogen monoxide, right? Or if it's CO, carbon monoxide. Yeah. All right. Try the rest of those. Number 5, I've got phosphorus, and there are 2 of them, so I'm going to need a prefix there. So diphosphorus trisulfide. Okay. Again, no capital letters. Number 6, I've got oxygen. There's only 1, so I don't need a prefix on that. And there's 1 sulfur, so that would be oxygen monosulfide. How many people are done 7? All right, let's have a look at that one too. So I've got silicone here, and there are 3 of them, so that's going to be tri-silicone, and then there's 4 phosphorus, so tetraphosphide. Okay, guys, we're still working here. I just didn't see anybody packed up yet. I didn't hear the bell go. So everybody can open up their books. In my class, we work till the bell goes. Okay, so open them back up on your desk. We're going through the rest of these. Number 8, I've got 1 sulfur, so I don't need a prefix. And I've got 2 chlorines, dichloride. Number 9, 1 silicone, so I don't need a prefix. And 4 hydrogens, tetrahydride. And finally for number 10, I need tetra because there's 4 borons. Okay, tetraboron tricarbide, not carbonide, carbide. Okay, your quiz tomorrow, like I said, is going to have a couple of naming and a couple of formula questions on it. So make sure you go over this carefully tonight. No capital letters in the names. If you put capital letters in the names tomorrow, it'll be wrong. So practice no capitals tonight. Okay, so I'll be posting that here shortly. Make sure you go over the quiz tonight, because a lot of the answers are just look them up in your notes so you've got them for tomorrow. Right? They're pretty simple.